I've had this tire machine for at least 10 years now, and I've been thinking I needed to make this video, and I finally decided to do it. This thing is called a tire stripper, made in USA. I have the last tire stripper that was made. I think they were made by a gentleman named Patterson in the DFW area, and I believe he had his welding done by someone in Oklahoma. I'll show you an example of the quality of the welding that's on this thing. If I can get this thing to zoom. Doesn't look like it's wanting to zoom. How about that? Can you see that? All the welding is unbelievably nice. You won't find better welding than what you see on this thing. Anyway, I wanted to show you the tire stripper because I think it's the most ingenious and clever manual tire changer I've ever seen. So to begin with, I'll show you it can be mounted to the floor, or it can be mounted into a receiver. And once it's in the receiver, it seems kind of low. It's slightly above my knee right now, or at my knee, right there. But it can be adjusted height-wise, and let me show you that. So to adjust the height, you simply pull the knob here and bring it up to where it's comfortable for you to work. I think that's a good height for me, but it'll go on up to there. Now the basic operation is you lay these down, and the tire or wheel center bearing goes over this. Now if you're worried about say your brake disc being down close, there's another part here. It comes with spacers. So these spacers slide over this to give height for the brake disc. And you can move these in or out to adjust to the size of the wheel, and then you lock them in place. Okay? Like so. So then the wheel, the outer edge of the rim rests on that. Then to break a bead, you get this tool here, and with all these holes here, you just put a pin through to make it the right height. And then you can adjust this in and out to properly get to the width of the rim. And there is a pin that locks it to the right position, like that. Pull it out, and then you simply press down on the tire right beside the bead or the rim to break the bead. So my advice would always be to, when you start off, to put it roughly above one of the arms so you're not pressing on the side. But you have easily 3 points there, and it swivels and it's locked in place, both positions. Okay? So. Now, once you get it on, you have a dismount and a mounting bar. So the dismount bar has a hook that you would stick inside the rim and hook it, okay, and then lever around this center post to dismount the wheel. Now, one thing I failed to show you is how to lock the wheel down. So you've set the wheel on, you want to break the bead. I should have shown you this before breaking the bead. It comes with these little spacers, so if there's a nice flat spot where the bearings are, you can use that one. If you need a cone, you can put that one on. Okay. Then you would slide this on and use the pin to lock it at the right height on the bearing, and then this would be sitting on the wheel. You turn this down, and that screws down and applies the pressure that you want to hold the wheel in position. So then you can take the breaker bar, a bead breaker bar, or the mount and dismount, and it slides on top of this while this is in place, locking the wheel in position. As I said, there's two types of disc. When you're finished, you simply unscrew that, and pull the tire off. But you've got it on, you've broken the bead, you've dismounted it, now you want to mount it. You have, I forgot to mention, there is a plastic protector here to protect your rim from being scratched. And on the mount bar there is a softer plastic. So you would hook this on the rim, and the bead would follow on this upper part, disc part, and that's what would rotate around and push the tire down onto the rim. So of course you want to push it down as far as you can manually, and then you want to hold it on down in the drop center on the opposite side as you would rotate this around. So you always, anytime you're changing a tire, you have to keep the opposite side of the tire down in the drop center of the wheel. I wished I had a tire to change to demonstrate, but I don't need to change a tire right now. Now, you'd say, okay, when you're done all that, the tire is going to want to rotate. Even though you've got it locked down and pressed down, it's going to want to rotate in a circle as you're trying to mount or dismount. And that is, in fact, true. And that's what this little tool is here. You hook this on the rim, and then you tighten it with this nut, this screw, and you clamp it on the rim, on the bottom of the rim, on the bottom side of the rim. You're working on the top side, this is on the bottom side. And what happens is, this would try to rotate, and as it tried to rotate, it would come in contact with this. That means that I've got these on backwards. It needs to be like that. So this is clamping on the rim, right here, and this would rotate around. So your rim would be on, this would rotate around and stop there, and that would be the stop to keep the tire from rotating around the center as you'd pull on the bar to mount or dismount. Okay. There's an alternative way to do that also. If you had a really stubborn tire, then you can use a strap, and believe it or not, it has a tire stripper strap. So this would be used, say, on really low profile, hard to change tires, maybe like a Gold Wing type tire, or for you dark siders that have those run flat tires. So what you do is you'd run this through a alloy spoked wheel. I wouldn't do this on regular spokes, but on alloy spoked wheel, you'd go through the spoke and then around this arm like this, and that would lock it in position and keep it from spinning or rotating also. So there's two ways to do it. Now, the unit came with some concrete anchors if you wanted to anchor it into the concrete rather than using the receiver. And it came with a set of spare accessories like the protectors on the dismount bar. There's two of those. Rubbers that would go on the rim clamp. There's a spare that goes on the mount bar. There's an extra pin here in case you lose one of the pins on the chain. There's actually two pins here. Anyway, it comes with accessories. I've changed probably about 10 tires with this, and I bought it originally probably, I'm guessing 10-12 years ago. Like I said before, this was the last tire stripper made. The gentleman that designed these was trying to sell the business, and I was evaluating it to buy the business myself. The issue I had was I was living out of the country at the time, and I just couldn't run a business in the United States, especially a small business that was a startup. At the same time, I was overseas, so I didn't do it. But like I said at the beginning, I think this is absolutely the best designed manual tire changer there is. I'm trying to sell this thing because I don't really need it, and it will come with everything I just showed you. There's the receiver pin. Here is a bottle of original unopened tire changer fluid, lube, and a lube bottle. It comes with a yellow thing. I hope I was adequately explained how it worked. Unfortunately, I just don't have a tire to change today. Well, for fear that I didn't do a very good job explaining that, I'll give a demo at least of breaking the bead and dismounting one side of a putter tire. So you notice I've taken the spacers off because I don't have, because I don't have a brake disc to worry about. Cone to center. Okay, it always helps to use some lube on mounting and dismounting. I forgot it, so I had to turn the camera off to go get some. My bottle's almost empty, it's not squirting very well. Come on now. This is Murphy's tire changing paste, I believe it's called. So, I haven't used this thing in many years. I'm out of practice. But you'll get the idea. Put that through there, pull this up here, lock that in place, and push down. There we go, it's broken down. Now, if I was going to mount a tire, I would have to flip it over and break the bead on the other side. And then I would put this thing on the rim to lock it so that it won't try to rotate on me. But I'll just demonstrate here how this goes on so you'll see how it goes on. So it would lock like this. Of course, you'd get a wrench and tighten it. But that's how it would be. You'd flip that over, this would come in contact with one of the arms and stop it from rotating. Or conversely, I could thread this through, thread this around the arm and back up and satch it, strap it down tightly and use that, but I prefer not to do that. I've only used that one time ever on a tire. Anyway, that's how it works. I have to say though, I do love my motorcycles. I got another one around the corner.